Hello and welcome to Hi-Fi Goals. Today I've got a little job that I need to do. I've got my stereo system, I've put it in this rack that you can possibly see below, but I've run into a problem. My existing speaker cable, which is the white cable here, is too short, so I need to either replace the cable with a longer cable, which I've got there, and that speaker cable is your more sort of conventional multi-core cable, whereas the speaker cable I've got here is not really speaker cable at all. It's a mains cable. It's a fairly light duty, I would say, lighting style cable. It measures almost exactly 1mm in diameter, and it's a solid core cable, so it's not really designed for moving around, whereas a multi-core cable is much more flexible and will stand up to a lot more sort of repeated abuse. So first question is, what are the characteristics of these two different cables that we can measure? So you might see there we're on the ohms range of the meter and we're on the 200 range. These cables are different lengths. The white cable is about 2.5 meters long, and the more conventional see-through cable is about 6 meters long. So if they measured the same, the longer one would actually have less resistance, and it may be that we need to do a bit of a spreadsheet later on to figure out what results we're getting. So let's get into it. Let's do some joining up these clips we've got, and then when I push these two together at the other end, we'll get a reading. So 0.2 of an ohm over 2.5 meters, so it's like 0.1 of an ohm per meter. If that's correct, we should really just quickly have a look at what these two clips together say. So they're saying 0.12 of an ohm, so we've probably actually in the cable got 0.1 of an ohm, so that's a tiny amount of resistance that we can barely even measure. This much fatter cable, if we measure that, what sort of resistance reading are we going to get from that? Now this fatter cable's got these strange connectors on that aren't quite banana plugs. I've not really had any experience of those. So we're getting an almost identical read from this cable over its 6 meter length, which really, you could say it's a better cable because it's longer, like I said before, or the whole thing is just kind of within the margin of error of the connectors that we have and the resistance we might be getting from those. So on to the next question. What else can we measure? Something that is quite often overlooked is the capacitance of the cable. Now this meter has a capacitance range, and where is it? It's over here. So just floating in space there, it's saying that we have 96 nano, or 95, 96 picofarads. If we hook it onto the white cable, see if that changes. And strangely, that has gone down to 84 nanofarads. So apparently there's more capacitance just sitting in the air with those leads than there is on a cable, which I find a little bit odd, but here we go. And apparently there's even less capacitance in the other cable. So in terms of measuring things in experiments, this is going nowhere fast. Oh dear.